Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Uncharted 1 Crushing Difficulty walkthrough, and this is chapter 15, also known as On the Trail of the Treasure. And I challenge you to try to say that fast 3 times in a row while drunk. But this mission starts off, we're gonna do some platforming, we're gonna traverse this old monastery wall or whatever it is, or church wall, and try to get into the church via the roof. And that can be easier said than done, because as we all know, the platforming is a bit rough in this game. I've mentioned it countless times before, I know, but sometimes you get really unlucky. And now I'm having a lot of problems managing to get in through this window. And that is an example of the roughness of the platforming in this game. And now we're gonna try to get down. First I tried going up, I wasn't quite sure which direction the game wanted me to go. And when you get down here, you're gonna see all the transition right there. Because I landed on that platform, I took 2 steps and I was dead. Because the enemies in this area are extremely aggressive. So what I like to do is jump over the gap instantly if you survive, or if you die. Just jump over that gap and hide in here to the right. You can also go into the left. You see there is an archway there, or a big door. So you can use the cover to your advantage and kill them. There are only 4 enemies, and when you take them down and venture in, you're gonna see this guy. And since he is alone, I take my time, line up my shot, and take him down right between the eyes. So this is basically moving backwards through chapter... was it chapter 14? Chapter 13? One of them at least, I can't remember which one. And we're also going into one big firefight in this chapter, but first we're gonna do some more platforming. We're gonna head through the church via the walls and big chandeliers and all that stuff. And that puzzle has always reminded me very much of one of the, I think it's one of the Assassin's tombs in Assassin's Creed 2. But I think it's more that Assassin's Creed 2 has been inspired by this game. I'm being very cautious here. You don't have to be so cautious because there are no enemies here. I was going through here being a bit paranoid because I didn't know. I couldn't remember if there were any enemies. But there aren't. So feel free to trudge on faster than I did. But I think it's Assassin's Creed 2 that may have taken some inspiration from Uncharted. Because since this game is older than Uncharted is. And also I want to give you a bit of an update on my recording problems. I bought a new USB cable the other day and I tried it yesterday. I did a 4.5 hour long recording session, recording the last part, almost said The Last of Us, the rest of Uncharted 2. 4.5 hours, didn't have a single signal loss problem or a single connection problem. It worked beautifully, so this cable works as it's supposed to. Like the last one didn't. So hopefully I'm gonna be able to record Uncharted 3 next, and without any problems at all. And it was quite interesting playing that game for so many hours, and I actually managed to unlock a trophy that I haven't gotten before. I got trophy YOLO Among Thieves, and you unlock that by beating the last level of the game without dying. So when we get to that episode, you're gonna see that chapter in its entirety. I will probably edit out all the cutscenes in it, but I did it one attempt. which felt really nice. But before I could start recording yesterday, my PS4 wanted to make a system update, and also my game capture program wanted to make an update. And that is something that I find really annoying with modern day consoles. We're talking PS3 and Xbox 360 and onwards. These constant updates. And I know they fill a function. I know sometimes they can be great. They can work out glitches and shit like that in games, or they can balance the online parts of it. But when you sit down, you have 30 minutes to spare, you want to play a game for a little bit, and you have to spend 20 of those 30 minutes waiting for an update to download, and then you think, okay, at least I can play for 10 minutes. No, then you're gonna wait those 10 minutes while it installs. And this wouldn't be such a big problem if games were done when they release them. Because that is a trend that has been going on for far too long in the gaming industry, that developers set up deadlines that they sometimes have a hard problem or have a big problem keeping, and then they release an unfinished game. And I would prefer that they instead waited or postponed the deadline for a little bit, because make the game complete when you release it. I don't want to sit day one, I've been waiting for a game for months, and sit and wait for 2 hours for a big patch. Now I'm exaggerating, I know, but wait 30 minutes for a big patch to download and install.
Hello there.
And maybe the game doesn't even work properly with it installed. That is not such a big issue on consoles. It seems to be more of a problem if you're playing on PC. I know that some of my friends that are PC players have talked that it's a bigger issue. And I can understand that, because when you develop a game for PC, you have so many more factors to weigh in. Because there are different graphics cards and motherboards and processors, and you have to make the game compatible with all of them, so you don't have a conflict and the game stops working. But now we're going into the big fight of this chapter, and you have a few minutes to get a head start on this fight, was what I was gonna say. Because the enemies down there are passive, they will not notice you as long as you don't make your move. So I recommend always line up your first shot with one of the enemies and make sure to get a headshot, because when you have that second drop, or when you have that drop on them, make it count. At least it's one less enemy trying to gun you down. And standing by the fence is a great position to be in, because you can hide behind those pillars, and Mr. Grenade Launcher guy, he can shoot between the bars of the fence, so be very careful with that. You can see the grenades going through, but if the grenade if the grenade hits the other side of the pillar, it abides by the same rules as all explosives do in this game, and you will not take damage. And now it's more or less just a waiting game. We're gonna stay behind this. In comes a new grenade launcher guy. Those are basically the only ones that pose a big threat here. Because if you're unlucky, he will use his godlike programmed aiming abilities and put a grenade right between your eyes. But as long as you stay up here, most of the enemies won't have a chance to get at you. The only way they have to get up here is the stairway over to the right. You see me camping right now. One guy comes up, and since I heard him coming, he didn't stand a chance. So always stay up here. Don't be overly aggressive. Don't try to go down too fast. Pan the camera around you. See, now the entire first wave is down. One of them tried to advance up the stairs, didn't get far. So now I'm gonna move further into the battlefield. I'm gonna move over to that stairway on the other side of this little cemetery to trigger the second spawn, and as soon as I see it trigger, I'm gonna fall back up there to my position of power. And also, since we have a sniper rifle up there, when you get a sniper rifle you have 5 shots. I move up the stairs, I see the spawn trigger, and I immediately start making my way back. And a sniper rifle, you get 5 bullets. Those are 5 kill shots, so make them count. Use them for the grenade launcher guys, and also if you manage to take out the grenade launcher guys, use them on the other ones. I don't know what he was firing at. Maybe he shot a duck or something, but that was very weird. But don't waste these shots, as you saw me doing there. I fired 1 shot right into the stairs and nothing happened, so make them count, they are very precious. And this second spawn is gonna be a bit more aggressive and try to advance on you. So I throw in a grenade and I tried to make him step back and hope that he would step back so the grenade would take him out, but grenades never do in the first game. And grenades are something I really use a lot in the second game actually, because it's a lot more balanced in that sense that enemies aren't so good at dodging them and you get a lot of grenades. So they're really fun to use, and something that is consistent through this entire game series is that grenades are a skill-based weapon, because the blast radius isn't very big. It's not like you launch a grenade and wipe the entire screen. You have to get it close, preferably right between their twinkly toes, like they have a tendency to do with you. Now I'm just scanning, because I'm not quite sure that all the enemies are dead. I can still hear the music playing. So I'm being a bit cautious, scanning the area. And I think this is where I get amazingly lucky. Because I move over here, I decide to pick up some more ammo. And no, it's not right now. It's now. Shotgun blast! Right to the chest! I have no idea where he was. He was just hiding out behind the stairs, waiting for me to make a mistake so he could go in for the kill. And unluckily for him, I went completely Charles Bronson, Chuck Norris, Arnold, Stallone, whatever, Terminator, RoboCop on him and took it like a beast to the chest. And I can honestly say I almost jumped straight out of the couch when it happened, because that was close. Learn from my mistakes. I scanned the other part of this area or the other part of the cemetery, but I didn't check beneath the stairs. And when you make those mistakes, you're gonna have to pay the price for them. So be very careful. But now we're coming up to the end of this level, and now we're gonna do a little puzzling. And once again, the solution to this puzzle, there are some emblems beneath these graves. You see them right there. You're gonna turn them to face in the right direction. And in these walkthroughs, it looks like I have the best memory ever, because you will never, or almost never, see me pick up the journal. And I do have a great memory in general, but it's not photographic. So the only reason you don't see me picking up the notebook is that I've edited it out due to just keeping the flow of the video going, because it's unnecessary for you to see me popping the Nate's notebook up and down constantly. Instead, you want to see the solution and want to see me moving on. But there we solved it, and we can venture on into chapter 16. I want to thank you very much for watching, And I will see you again in my next video. So until next time, this is Wolfman signing off.